Thank you so much for attending today's Financial Friday workshop, hosted by the Game Plan College team in conjunction with the Durham College Advising Corps advisors. Today, we will be talking about how to understand your financial aid letter, and we will also go into verification or any other steps once you receive that financial aid letter to make your decision. To get started, we will go over what a financial aid offer is, go over other terminology and questions to consider as you're making your decision, where we will be deciphering a few financial aid packages and then talking about how to appeal and compare those financial aid offers for yourself. So at any moment of this, you can feel free to put questions in the chat and we will address them as we go along or at the end as well. So to get started, first and foremost, what is a financial aid offer? Financial aid offers, they're keys given to you from schools on how you will pay for that school. And so we're talking about college and universities here. They'll include how much you'll have to pay on your own. And typically, if you have submitted your FAFSA and were approved for financial aid, every school that accepted you will send you a financial aid offer. So if the school has not accepted you, they will not send you an offer, and they will only send you an offer once they have accepted you. So we're going to go over a few key terms when it comes to understanding that financial aid letter. You may see some terms on there called the cost of attendance. The cost of attendance is an estimate of all that you will need to pay for 1 year of school. So these costs include tuition and fees, room and board, but they also include how much you will be spending on books, an estimate, as well as transportation and even personal expenses. So every school should have a cost of attendance publicized somewhere, usually on their website. And if some financial aid packages include that cost of attendance on the financial aid award letter that they send you, but not all. So if they don't include it on the letter, you can go check out their website to make sure you know what the total cost of attendance is. Another term is the EFC, the expected family contribution. You may have seen this term when you filed your FAFSA or as soon as you file your FAFSA. It's the number that schools use to determine what your financial need is. And so we'll show you an example of EFC in one of the financial aid packages. But despite its name, it's not how much you will actually pay for school. So even though your EFC can be as low as 0, saying that you're not expected to pay anything, you may still have to pay for something out of pocket. So we will go over that in the examples. Other terminology that you might see on your financial aid packages are college grants. Grants is free money, and they're typically need-based, and they can be given by a state or by federal government, or even in the school level. So grants are free money. College scholarships, they can be need-based or merit-based or interest-based. So if you're like studying a specific major, they might have offered you a scholarship for that. And they're awarded by a school or a company or a private organization. So scholarships are also free money that you do not have to pay back. And that may be included on your financial aid packages as well. So the scholarships we will be talking about today are institutional scholarships, typically from the school, but you can always apply to scholarships from outside organizations, local organizations, to add to how you will pay for college. Work study might be something that you are offered as well. Work study is a program that's implemented by the university where you can work and get some financial aid. So typically these are on-campus jobs. They vary. They can be at the library. They can be doing some research with a professor or at a lab. And you usually work and then get that money paid either directly towards you. That's more typical, or sometimes it goes towards your bill, but that's not as typical. So if you get the option of work study, I would highly recommend it because typically on-campus jobs, there's specific jobs on campus for work study, and they will prioritize you versus other students that may be applying to those jobs. And federal student loans. So these are loans, so this is borrowed money that comes directly from the federal government. You do have to pay this back once you graduate, and interest may also be accumulating while you are in school. So you want to definitely make a note of these loans that will be in your financial aid packages as you are making a decision. They will list the amount that you will be borrowed, and a financial aid loan can also be for a parent. So those are called direct parent plus loans. They will be included in the package that are going towards your parent. So there are differences in loan types, and we will be going over that as well. And then additionally, if you have some gaps or if you need additional money to pay for school, you could take out private student loans that would not be coming from the federal government. That could be from an outside organization, such as a bank, a credit union, or Sallie Mae. Those are typically not recommended as they have higher interest rates, but those are an option to pay for school as well. So some questions to consider as you are receiving these financial aid packages and as you're looking through them. So how much financial aid is a school offering you? And if I am comparing more than one, which one is the better one? Which one is the best financial fit for me? What money is free money, such as grants and scholarships? And what money do I have to pay back, such as the loans? And do I have to accept everything in my financial aid package? So if they include $10,000 in loans, do I have to take out the full amount? And the answer to that one is no, and we will talk about those examples as well. So here is the first example of financial aid letter. We are going to look at this closely. This was from 2013 at WSU. I think this is in Washington somewhere. And let's look at this first. The total cost of attendance, they included that here for us, which is nice. Total cost for the school is $27,302. This student's expected family contribution, EFC, was 0. This means that this student should be receiving the maximum financial aid from the federal government and from the school. And so how they calculate what your financial need is, and they give you this nice formula here. It's nice that this letter spells it out for you, is the cost of attendance minus EFC, which is equals your financial need. So they did 27,000 minus your expected family contribution. This student's financial need is the full amount, $27,302. And then this is where this letter gets deceiving. The total annual awards that this student is receiving is $27,302. So this school did meet their full need, quote unquote. But we're going to then decipher what each piece is and see how much the school is really costing us. So what this is saying is that the school put in the financial aid letter the total amount of $27,302. So now let's look line by line at what they are offering me. I'm getting the Pell Grant, full amount, $5,550. Pell Grant is free money. I'm getting a state grant, free money, $100. A Washington state grant, more free money, $4,000. And so that, I would have to do some calculations, or you can on your own to see what you get for total amount of free money from this school. But then if we look at these things, I have 4 different types of loans in this package. The subsidized loan from the government and the unsubsidized loan from the government. Loans from the government are good. The difference between these two is subsidized is good, that means your interest is not accruing while you're in school. So if this was the only loan I were to ever take out for $3,500, at the end of my 4 years, I would only owe $3,500. However, unsubsidized loans, they do accrue interest while you are in school. So if $2,000 was the only loan I would ever take out for my whole 4 years at school, at the end of 4 years, I would owe more than $2,000 just based on that interest, because interest is accruing or adding up each year. Now look at this Parent Plus loan, $10,000 that they expect my parents to take out in a loan. I don't know about your situation, but I know my parents were not willing to take out a loan for my education. And say they were willing, they may not have qualified via their credit to take out this loan. And so that is a thing with Parent Plus loans, something to be careful about. Your parents have to be willing, and they must apply and qualify for these loans. And then another additional loan, the Perkins loan for $1,000. So the majority of my financial aid package, like $16,500, and more than that actually, like 17,000 and some dollars, are in loans. So I want to hear from you all in the chat. Is this a school that you think would be a good financial fit for you based on this financial aid that they are offering you? Now remember, I need the most amount of money. My expected family contribution is 0. So I want to hear from you all in the chat. Would this be a good financial fit for you? Right, I'm getting some responses, no. And I would say that's correct. And here's the math. Total grants is $10,000, total student loans $6,500, but then total parent loans $10,802. So that's about $17,000 and some of parent loans. And so how much this net cost is a new term. How much is this actually costing me? What it's actually costing me is that loan amount, the money I'm going to have to pay back. Even if I don't have to pay it back up front, I will pay it back eventually, which is $17,302. So this financial aid letter can be very deceiving, especially because they say, oh, we're giving you the full $27,302 you need for your education. But you have to be careful with that, because it's truly $17,000 in borrowed money. Here is another example. This school also provided the cost of attendance, which was nice. They even provided the breakdown of how much tuition is, fees, room and board, transportation estimates, miscellaneous cost estimates, books and supplies, etc. The total cost is $18,802, and I'm receiving $16,449 in financial aid. So at first glance, it looks like I have a bigger gap here than the previous school at first glance. They're not giving me the full financial aid that I need to cover my costs. However, you will only get billed or charged directly to your student account for things called direct costs. That is your tuition, how much you pay for classes, fees for being a student that are required, room, which is your dorm room, and board, which is your meal plan. So only those 4 things are what you will get charged directly to your school. You will need this other money to be able to pay for, you will need these other costs, or you will have these other costs as a student in school. For example, you'll need to buy books, or you may need to buy toiletry items, things like that while you're a student, but they will not get billed to you directly. So my direct cost is $15,000. Now my financial aid is $16,000. My financial aid will cover my full bill amount, which is good. And if we look line by line, the student had an EFC of 0, so they also should have gotten the max amount of money. They got the full Pell Grant, free money. North Carolina grant, more free money. They have a loan subsidized. Now, can you remind me, subsidized is interest accruing or adding up while on school? Yes or no? Is interest accruing for subsidized? Yes or no? And it's okay if you don't remember, but I would love to hear from students in the chat on what we just discussed. Okay, awesome. So no, interest is not accruing while you're in school. That's absolutely right. So subsidized are, I guess, quote unquote, the better loan, and unsubsidized interest is accruing. These amounts are pretty fixed and pretty common for yearly based on the federal government and their limits for you as a first-year student. So you'll see these amounts quite frequently. So subsidized, $3,500, unsubsidized loan, $2,000. Now, I also have a $2,000 scholarship. That's free money I don't have to pay back. And so if I take a look at this or decipher it deeper, total grants is $10,000, almost $11,000. Total loans is $5,500. So my cost for this school, my net price, which is what I'm paying or what it will cost me to attend, is only the loans for this first year, the $5,500. So this net price in comparison to the previous net price of $17,000, which school is the better school? School A or School B? School B. Thank you, Maggie, for being an awesome participant. So yes, this net price is less. Now you may say, I don't want to take out any loans for my education. So how can I make this an affordable option for me? And I want to hear from you all. So since I have this $5,500 gap, you could say, that they're providing me with loans, how could I cover that gap? What are some other avenues that I could use to pay that $5,500 so I don't have to take it out in loans? Awesome. Scholarships. Yes, that's where scholarships come in from outside organizations. Working the summer before college, that is a great option. Someone said work study. Work study, I doesn't show if the student got offered work study or not. More than likely they did because their EFC is 0. However, work study more so goes directly to you. You work and you get paid bi-weekly by the college. I would say work study covers mostly like miscellaneous, those personal expenses and personal items while you're a student. So that's where work study helps out. Work study is kind of spread out throughout time. So you do get paid bi-weekly typically. So it's not something you could pay up front for your bill. But working the summer before, outside scholarships, that's where that comes in. Even if it's a $500 scholarship, apply to it. Especially if it's a local one, you'd be surprised how many scholarships only have 3 applicants and they have 2 people that they give it to. That means the odds are very, very high when there's not that many applicants. So apply to those for sure. And so if you need to appeal a financial aid offer, that was covered in the last session, but we can go over it quickly again. So appealing means I would appeal, for example, this first one. I would say, if I really, really wanted to go to this school, I could appeal to them and say, I really want to go to your school. However, there's no way that I can take out $17,000 in loans. Is there anything else you can provide for me? That's what appealing is. That means you're challenging the financial aid offer they give you. So going back towards that, You want to first determine, do you have a special circumstance to warrant an appeal, to appeal your financial aid? If so, so say you're the FAFSA year that they used, your parents made a lot of money, but then due to COVID, your financial circumstances have changed. That's a special circumstance where you can file an appeal. And if so, if you have a special circumstance, you want to then contact your financial aid office and understand their appeal process. Then you want to submit all your documentation, complete all the steps, and then follow up and hopefully get a response, in a rapid response from them on that appeal. So special circumstances that qualify, that's if you feel like you cannot meet that financial contribution that they're asking for. If your previous year's income changed drastically, so COVID has affected a lot of people. It could be that a parent lost a job, or a parent got laid off, or they got in an accident and had high medical or dental expenses that's not covered by insurance, or even high dependent care costs, taking care of an elder, for example, or a special needs individual. We talked about losing a job, or if your parents' income varies drastically from year to year, if someone is seriously ill, if a parent dies, becomes incarcerated, becomes disabled or institutionalized, if you relied on Social Security benefits and they stopped, or if you relied on child support, or if there was a natural or financial disaster. So those are special circumstances. Then you want to send an email, reach out to your financial aid office. This is a letter, so we can condense this a lot and send it in email form. But you want to be professional, be short and to the point, concise, provide specifics on your situation and conditions on that situation. So you could say, greetings to your financial aid advisor. I hope this email finds you well. I wanted to appeal my financial aid letter for the 2018 school year. You can skip all of this, and you can say, since I filed my FAFSA, my ability to pay out-of-pocket expenses have been altered significantly due to my father's job loss. Due to unforeseen issue, my ability to pay will change. Based on a previous salary, I anticipated I could contribute $12,000 per year. However, now we will only be able to pay $1,000 per year, based on the money we have on hand for my education. Thus, I am requesting $11,000 more in financial aid. So what this student did very well is gave specifics, and even was specific at how much they are requesting. Then you could include, if you wanted to, like, I'm committed to completing my education, but I would say you could even just leave it at that. Please let me know what I need to do in order to file this appeal, or if you need additional information. Thank you, and sign your name. And then once you send this over, they will likely get back to you and say, you need to fill out this form, you need to provide me examples of your taxes, or you need to provide me W-2, which is how much income your parent got that year, or maybe a letter of being laid off. Whatever documentation that they may say that they need, you want to make sure you get it and gather it in a prompt manner. And then you want to send it all to them. And once you send it, you want to follow up. So not only do you want to make sure you are checking your email, you want to send the information all as fast as possible, all documentation. And then maybe after like a week or two, just send a quick email like, hey, I just wanted to check in. Is there anything else you need? Or when can I expect to get a response? And you want to always remember, be courteous and kind to everyone that you're talking to within school, within college, but especially financial aid officers, because they hold a lot of power on these appeal processes and how much you will be able to receive from the institution. And so when you're comparing your financial aid offers, we discussed some of that already when we were looking at the examples, but you could create a chart for yourself. Cost of attendance for each school, How much free money am I getting, such as grants, scholarships, and work study? How many loans am I getting? I would include parent loans. Are there parent loans they're offering me? And if that's something that is feasible for myself, and then do the math, subtract the free money, subtract the loans that you are willing to take out, and see if there's a balance. See if there is any money left over that you need to come up with. So we didn't have that scenario in our examples where there was a balance. However, it could be that you owe $3,000 and they already offered you those loans. That's where more scholarships come in. Or you might need to get a private loan to cover that amount. Or if they didn't offer you that parent loan, you could talk to your parents and see if they would be willing to take out a smaller parent loan of $3,000 for you. Something to consider is you're not only going to school for 1 year, you are going to school for 4 years. So say I was choosing school B for myself, the one that had $5,500 in loans. I will probably receive the same financial aid package each year if my circumstances stay around the same. And so how much am I paying for that school in total? That's like $22,000, I believe, for all of the 4 years in loans. So if I don't want to be in debt that much, then that's where you can do summer jobs or do internships that are paid to save up some money, or you could fundraise within your family, or you can also, and I highly recommend this, apply to a lot of scholarships so that you can cover that cost and minimize your debt for school. But remember, getting in debt is not something we want to do, but it is an investment in yourself, your education. So weigh the pros and cons and see if that is a good option for yourself to get in debt for your undergraduate degree. Lastly, we want to just remind you that we have another Financial Friday workshop next week, and we will, based on your feedback, we will have more on other things such as credit and things like that. So definitely go to this bit.ly to sign up for next week's workshop. And at this time, I wanted to know if there are any questions that I can help answer on anything that was covered today.